Isn't it fantastic? More lenses for the Micro Four Third. This is a 35-100 f4-5.6 telezoom. So we are going to have a look at what we get from when we buy this telezoom. So we are getting a very small package, and then what we can expect is that it must be a small lens inside, of course. So let's open it up and see what we find here. This seems to be the lens hood, and yes it is. Seems to be well folded. So this lens hood is plastic. And what I noticed from David Thorpe, which makes nice reviews on YouTube of the Micro Four Third system, he told that this is not available to buy optional, so don't drop it. You will not be able to buy it then, unless you would find a used one, but that would cost much money. And let's see what we find more. And this is some warranty papers and all these things, I believe. Very right. Let's put it there. And this must be the lens. Bubble wrapped. Very excellent. And we have the empty box now, we can put it there. So let's see if we were getting a lens. Nice. And some more protection here. So what I can say that the feeling of this lens, even if it's a bit plastic in these things, it's not absolutely plastic. I can feel some metal parts more to the bottom of it, and but the focus and the zoom is plastic. This looks nice. And before you use this lens, you need to put it in the 35mm because it's in an off mode right now, and it's because this lens is not as compact as it is right now. I'm going to show you. So first of all, this feels very good. I would say that the focusing and zoom is not crazy smooth, but it's smooth enough. So the first step there is the 35mm. There it's switched off. And it's very compact indeed. It's very nice. So let's put the lens hood on. Let's get it right. And it snaps on very well. So this lens is in a size that you actually can carry it in your pocket. So I think this will be very interesting to walk around with. So this is the on mode. This is 35mm, and that was the 100 at the maximum. So what can I say? It feels very nice, not bad at all. And you can put back the lens cap right there. And it's easy to put on and put back. This is how the lens looks like on a Panasonic GX7. This is the lens zoomed out at maximum 100mm. It feels well balanced on the Panasonic GX7, and now let's have a look at some photos, and we'll also take a look at some videos later on, but here are some of my shots with it. First off, let's have a photo that was taken with an external flash. This is the flash FL580L from Panasonic, and I was using the focal length 100 at the aperture 5.6 when taking this photo. I have to say that I really like the color of this lens, and it feels actually sharp enough also for my use, so see for yourself. So let's make a 100% pull up of this image to see how this lens is rendering. It looks very nice. And this doesn't look bad either. So for the price, I think that you're getting very much lens for the money. And indeed, you're getting much lens for the money. All the images were taken on freehand from my Panasonic GX7. JPEGs pulled out from highest quality from the camera. I think the image quality and the color looks good enough to say that this is a good lens that I want to have in my camera bag around with me all the time. In fact, this lens is so small that I can keep it in my pocket. As long as there's enough light, this lens performs well, to be honest. I haven't tried it on moving subjects, so I cannot say how the autofocus works on moving subjects. This lens, of course, is very light, but it has some... the negative things would be that it's not weather sealed, and you don't have any button for switching on off the optical image stabilization. But instead, the reseller claimed to me that if you put it on an Olympus camera body, which has the image stabilization on the sensor, then the lens will switch off automatically. Of course, the image stabilization, will be switched off. And but that's no problem, to be honest. That when I bought this lens, I didn't see it to be a fast lens. It was just that I wanted to have a tele. So as long as there is enough light, as I said, this performs good enough, and I think that I really want to have this with me all the time in my collection. The near field of this lens is 90 centimeters. I'm going to try to take a picture on the lock on the left hand side, and the camera is positioned there to the right hand side. It's approximately 90 centimeters between there. I would say that it's definitely not a macro lens. That's one negative thing with this lens, is that I cannot get as close as I really want to the subject. But I think it's good enough, actually. I don't claim it to be any big problem, because then I would get another lens. Probably I would get a prime lens for getting closer, or even a macro lens. However, the 35-100 is equivalent to 70-200 on a full frame sensor. And let's have a look at how close we can zoom in. And this is at the focal length 100mm, and we're going back to 35mm. So this is how it looks like from that camera position, which is approximately 90 centimeters away. I bet you want to see a photo from the same position on a tripod. And there it is. I would say it's really sharp, actually. I like it. And let's move the focus towards the background, and that's how it looks like. Now you might ask, how fast is the autofocus? Let's have a look at it. From what I feel, I think that the autofocus is quite fast, actually. So this lens performs very well, actually. I don't think it's bad at all. I really like it. And there you can see on the background, and then again on the lock. Well, I think it's fast enough. I like it. So what do you think? Here is the result of moving the focus. Right, now it's time to look at the optical image stabilization on the lens. Let's try to make some hand-recorded video, and here they are. So I'm holding the camera in all these videos right now, trying to keep it as steady as possible without forcing myself to keep it too steady. Just holding it by hand with my GX7 recording a video. And to me it works very well, actually. And worth to mention is that the shots here are zoomed in at 100mm. Same goes with this one, it's a 100mm focal length here. And I keep the autofocus on the camera right now, and I just try to put a single focus on that leaf. Same with this one, 100mm there also, and it works actually surprisingly well. Here the near field is as close as possible, approximately 90 centimeters with a focal length of 100. I think we're ready to try to make some video recording on tripod. And here they are. Worth to mention is that I forgot to turn off the optical image stabilization on the lens when it's on a tripod, but to me it didn't seem to make any big difference at all. And worth to mention is that this tripod is very cheap, so when I'm moving the focus, I'm also moving the camera. So it's not steady at all, this tripod. And here is another close-up at 100mm. And I'm using the aperture of 5.6. And while changing the focal back to 35, the aperture is opening to f4. That's why it's increasing in light sensitivity there, and I'm manually stepping it down a bit by increasing the shutter speed in the video. So after working with this lens like 3 to 4 days now, I feel that this was a good buy for me, because I was looking for a lens that was taking over after the normal zoom. And I think that I'm satisfied over the image quality, I'm satisfied over how easy it is on the camera. I think that the next buy would be a super tele for me, because I think that I want to have more reach than this, of course. So thank you for watching, and I hope that this video could help you a little bit in your decision if you want this lens or not.